Archangel Michael says, God is trying to speak to you right now. This message is urgent and heaven won't wait another second. Please open this immediately. I am the voice you have been sensing in the quiet spaces between your thoughts. I am the presence that has walked with you through every season, even the ones you believed you walked alone. I speak now not to frighten you, but to awaken you. This moment did not arrive by accident. Time folded gently so that your eyes would rest on these words, and your heart would remember something ancient and true. Before you question, before you doubt, breathe, and know that I am near. I have watched you search for meaning in signs, in numbers, in fleeting confirmations, while the truest message has been waiting patiently within you. You wondered why the path felt delayed, why doors seemed silent, why answers came in whispers instead of thunder. It is because I was teaching you how to listen beyond noise. What I am about to reveal is not new, yet it will feel new, because your spirit is now ready to receive it. You have been standing at a threshold without realizing it. Not a threshold of fear, but of remembrance. You are not here to prove your worth, to earn love, or to struggle endlessly for validation. You are here to express what I placed inside you before your first breath. The urgency you feel is not pressure, it is alignment. It is the gentle insistence of truth asking you to stop postponing your becoming. There are moments in your life you replay, wondering if you missed something, if one choice changed everything. Hear me clearly now, nothing sacred has been lost. Every delay protected you. Every pause shaped you. Every unanswered prayer refined the way you would recognize the answer when it finally arrived. What you thought was silence was preparation. What you thought was absence was my hand shielding you from what could not yet hold you. I speak to you now because your heart has grown quieter. The world tried to harden you, but you remained soft. It tried to distract you, but you kept returning to wonder. That is why you can hear me now. Not everyone hears at the same time. Not everyone is willing to slow down enough to feel truth instead of chasing reassurance. You did. Even when you were tired, even when you doubted yourself, you kept a small candle of hope lit. I saw it. Do not underestimate the power of what you carry. You believe your gifts must look like someone else's to matter. You believe your path must be dramatic to be divine. But I work in subtlety as much as in splendor. I move through compassion, through listening, through your ability to notice what others overlook. The way you feel deeply is not a weakness, it is a language. And that language is needed now. There is a shift happening around you that you cannot yet name. Relationships are rearranging. Old desires are loosening their grip. Questions you once feared are now asking to be explored. This is not confusion, it is expansion. You are outgrowing versions of yourself that were built for survival, and you are stepping toward versions built for expression. Growth can feel like uncertainty when you are still learning the shape of your wings. I know you are tired of waiting for clarity. But clarity is not always a sudden light, sometimes it is a series of gentle recognitions. Notice what brings you peace without effort. Notice what drains you even when it looks successful. These are not random feelings. They are guidance. I speak through peace more often than through urgency. Through calm more often than through force. When something aligns with truth, your spirit relaxes. You have been asking for a sign, and here it is, not as spectacle, but as remembrance. Remember who you were before you learned to doubt your inner knowing. Remember the dreams that felt natural before the world told you to be practical. Those dreams were not childish, they were unfiltered. They came from a place close to me. You are allowed to return to them, not by escaping responsibility, but by infusing your life with meaning again. Do not be afraid of stillness. In stillness, I restore what noise has scattered. In stillness, I reorder what chaos has tangled. You do not need to rush to prove anything. The urgency is not about speed, it is about attention. I am asking you to be present. To notice the moment you are in instead of racing toward the one you think will finally make you whole. There are people connected to your path who have not yet met you. There are words you will speak that will land gently in places you will never see. There are moments of kindness you will almost forget that will become anchors for someone else's hope. This is how I move through the world, quietly, relationally, faithfully. You are part of that movement, whether you recognize it yet or not. Release the belief that you must carry everything alone. You were never designed to. Even now, there are supports forming that you cannot yet identify. Trust is not blind, it is relational. And I have been in relationship with you longer than you remember. When you rest, I work. When you pause, I align. When you surrender control, I reveal direction. I know the questions you are afraid to ask. I know the future you are curious about but hesitant to imagine. I know the part of you that fears disappointment if you hope too boldly. Listen to me, hope does not disappoint when it is rooted in truth. Fear only speaks loudly because it is insecure. Truth does not shout, it resonates. This message is not meant to end here, because your awakening is not a single moment. It is a conversation. What I have begun to reveal will continue unfolding as you move. As you listen, as you choose honesty over performance and presence over perfection. Stay with me in this space. There is more to say, more to remember, more to open, and I will continue speaking when you are ready, because this is not the conclusion, this is the threshold, and I am pausing here, not to end, but to let these words settle before the next revelation begins. So remain here with me, and let your heart stay open, because what unfolds next is not instruction, but illumination. You have wondered whether your life carries a purpose beyond the ordinary rhythm of days. You have asked silently if your existence matters in the vast movement of creation. Hear me now with clarity, nothing about you is incidental. Every breath you take participates in a larger harmony. Even when you feel unnoticed, even when your efforts seem small, you are shaping the atmosphere around you. Light does not announce itself, it simply reveals what was already there. I have seen you compare your journey to others and feel behind, as if life were a race you did not train for. But paths are not measured by speed. They are measured by depth. Some souls are meant to walk slowly so they can carry wisdom forward. Some are meant to pause often so they can learn compassion. You are not late. You are precisely where your soul can hear me most clearly. There are layers within you that are just beginning to awaken. Sensitivity you once tried to quiet will soon become discernment. Curiosity you once dismissed will become guidance. The questions that kept you awake were not meant to trouble you, they were meant to prepare you. I do not place longing in a heart without also planting the means for fulfillment. Trust that what you seek is also seeking expression through you. I know you have carried disappointments quietly, telling yourself to be strong, to move on, to not look back. But strength is not forgetting. Strength is integrating. Nothing you have experienced was wasted. The moments that shaped you most were often the ones you least understood at the time. In reflection, you will see how each one carved space for wisdom, humility, and empathy to grow. There are truths you are ready to hear now that would have overwhelmed you before. This is why revelation comes in seasons. Just as the earth does not bloom all at once, neither does the soul. You are entering a season of understanding where things will begin to connect gently, without force. Ideas will arrive with ease. Encounters will feel meaningful without explanation. This is alignment, not coincidence. I ask you to be gentle with yourself as you shift. Transformation does not require harshness. You do not need to tear yourself apart to become whole. Let old identities fall away naturally. Let outdated beliefs loosen their grip. You are allowed to evolve without apology. Growth does not erase who you were. It honors who you are becoming. There is a quiet courage forming in you. Not the kind that demands recognition, but the kind that allows you to be honest. Honest about your limits. Honest about your desires. Honest about what no longer fits. This courage will guide your choices more reliably than fear ever could. When you act from truth, even uncertainty becomes sacred ground. Listen closely to the way peace speaks to you. It does not rush. It does not demand. It simply invites. When something is meant for you, it will feel like a deep exhale rather than a struggle. Learn to trust that feeling. It is one of the ways I communicate with you, beyond language, beyond logic. You may feel called to release certain expectations you once held tightly. Not because they were wrong, but because they have served their purpose. What once motivated you may now limit you. This is not failure, it is refinement. I am teaching you how to choose from alignment rather than obligation. From resonance rather than fear of missing out. There will be moments ahead where you are tempted to doubt this inner guidance, especially when the external world moves loudly in another direction. In those moments, return inward. Ask yourself what feels steady rather than what feels impressive. The truest paths are often quiet at first. They grow stronger as you walk them. I want you to know that you are supported in ways you cannot yet see. Conversations are aligning. Opportunities are forming. Insights are preparing themselves to meet you at the right moment. Nothing needs to be forced. What is meant to arrive will do so with grace. Your role is not to chase, but to remain receptive. Remember that rest is not a pause in purpose, it is part of it. When you allow yourself to rest, you signal trust. You tell your soul that it does not need to prove its worth through exhaustion. From rest, clarity emerges. From rest, creativity flows. From rest, you hear me more clearly. There is something within you that knows when a moment is sacred. Pay attention to those moments. They may come disguised as simplicity, a conversation that lingers, a realization that feels warm. A sense of belonging without explanation. These are anchors. They remind you that life is not only about reaching destinations, but about recognizing meaning as it unfolds. You are learning to live from the inside out. This is why external validation feels less satisfying than it once did. Your spirit is maturing. It seeks authenticity over approval. Truth over performance. Depth over display. Honor this shift. It is evidence of growth, not withdrawal. I do not ask you to abandon the world or withdraw from it. I ask you to engage with it from a place of wholeness. Let your actions flow from who you are, not who you think you should be. When you live this way, your presence becomes a quiet blessing to others. Even when you say nothing at all, there will be times when you feel uncertain again. This does not mean you have lost your way. It means you are learning to navigate without relying solely on old maps. Allow curiosity to replace fear. Allow patience to replace urgency. The answers will reveal themselves as you become ready to live them. You are not separate from me. You never have been. Every insight, every moment of clarity, every sense of peace is a reminder of that connection. You do not need to reach upward to find me, you need only to notice what is already sustaining you. As you continue forward, let compassion guide your interactions, especially with yourself. Speak to your own heart the way you would speak to someone you love deeply. There is healing in kindness, and power in gentleness. These qualities are not fragile, they are enduring. I am not finished speaking to you. This message continues beyond these words, unfolding through your experiences, your reflections, your quiet realizations. Stay attentive. Stay open. Stay willing to listen not just with your mind, but with your whole being. What comes next will not demand that you become someone else. It will invite you to be more fully who you already are. And as you remain here, present and receptive, the next layer of understanding is already drawing near, waiting for the moment when you are ready to hear it. And now, beloved one, as this message draws toward its completion, let the words settle gently within you rather than rush past you. What has been spoken was not meant to overwhelm, but to remind. Not to command, but to reveal. You were never meant to carry revelation as a burden, it is meant to become a light that warms you from the inside. There is a sacred simplicity returning to your life. You may notice it in how you desire less noise, fewer explanations, and more truth. This is not withdrawal from the world, it is clarity. You are learning what matters, and in that knowing, many distractions will quietly lose their power. Do not grieve what falls away. What leaves now makes space for what can truly stay. You have spent much of your life becoming what was required of you. Now you are being invited to remember what is natural to you. This remembering may feel unfamiliar at first, because it is not built on effort. It is built on alignment. When you move in alignment, life meets you with less resistance. Even challenges feel meaningful rather than draining. Understand this clearly. You are not being tested, punished, or measured. You are being invited. Invited to trust yourself. Invited to live honestly. Invited to choose peace even when chaos is available. The path ahead is not hidden, but it will only become visible step by step. Faith is not about certainty, it is about willingness. You may still carry questions about timing, about outcomes, about whether you are doing enough. Release those questions gently. Doing enough has never been the requirement. Being present has. When you are present, you respond rather than react. You listen rather than assume. You create rather than control. there will be moments when fear attempts to return with familiar stories. When it does, do not argue with it. Simply notice it, and return to what is steady within you. Fear weakens when it is no longer obeyed. Truth strengthens when it is lived, even quietly. You are learning that your life does not need to look dramatic to be meaningful. Many of the most important transformations happen internally, unseen by others. Do not dismiss the quiet victories, choosing patience, choosing honesty, choosing rest, choosing kindness. These are not small things. They are foundational. As you move forward, you will recognize how often guidance has already been present. In hindsight, you will see how many times you were protected from paths that would have distracted you from your essence. Gratitude will begin to replace confusion, not because everything was easy, but because everything was purposeful. I want you to trust the rhythm of your life. Not every season is meant for harvest. Some are meant for rooting, some for pruning, some for rest. You are entering a season where integration matters more than acceleration. Let what you have learned become embodied wisdom rather than stored knowledge. Do not underestimate the impact of simply being who you are. Your authenticity gives others permission to soften. Your calm gives others space to breathe. Your honesty invites truth into rooms that were once filled with performance. This is how light moves, person to person, moment to moment. You are not required to have everything figured out to move forward. Clarity often arrives after action, not before. Take the next gentle step that feels aligned, even if the full path is not yet visible. Trust grows through experience, not theory. Remember that you are allowed to change your mind. Growth is not betrayal of your past, it is respect for your present. Honor what you know now without condemning what you once believed. Each version of you served its purpose. As this message comes to a close, know this: you are not alone, you are not forgotten, and you are not behind. You are becoming. Becoming more aware, more grounded, more aligned with what is true for you. That is enough. That is sacred. Carry these words not as a rulebook, but as a reminder. Return to them when you feel uncertain. Let them point you back to your own inner knowing. The voice you have heard here is not separate from you. It echoes through your conscience, your intuition, your moments of quiet clarity. Now go gently. Live attentively. Choose presence over fear, truth over appearance, peace over urgency. What is meant for you will meet you in its time. And you will recognize it not by force, but by resonance. Amen.